Hello people, and welcome to a video showcasing everything new with the Airports DLC. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. First of all, a huge thank you to Paradox for giving me early access to the Airports DLC and the 2 new content creator packs. Was absolutely not expecting that, so thank you so much for the early access, very exciting. And indeed to you guys for getting the channel to a point where it gets early access. So pretty much thank you to everyone. Okay, really appreciate all support. Today we are going to have a look at every single new asset up close and personal that comes with this Airports DLC and its subsequent update, and see what we think. And you can maybe use this video as a point to decide whether or not the DLC is for you or not. For those watching this in the premiere on Saturday evening, I will be going live in Palaven immediately after this video to rebuild Palaven's airport using this new Airports DLC. So if you want to come and join us for that, then do hop over onto the channel and stop by for the live stream that will be happening immediately after this video. So come and hang out. But otherwise, let's get started, shall we? So we will get started here today by looking at the classic airport terminal first. So this comes in 3 different sizes. It should also be noted as well that all of these airport assets are all within the same airport area. So you can mix and match different terminal styles within the same airport region if you wanted to. You don't have to just stick into one of these styles. They do also connect as well. I'll showcase that today. So here is our classic terminal style. It's kind of a grey and orange, right? Pretty nice. Some nice airport signage at the front. Some cute detailing with some flowers and bushes around there. Might need a little more car parking than this with an airport, but at least it's there, right? You have the decal. Okay, that's a classic airport terminal. This is your very basic one. And after that, we have the classic 2-story terminal, so you can kind of see how these are going to be working with each other, right? This one has 2 stories into it, and roads will just very easily connect in and out of this. You can come off at slightly different angles if you're not going to touch the main terminal building, alongside crossover the bottom road as well. So nice flexible connections on the front of the building here. And again, some cute detailing with some benches and some kind of national flags outside, little Italian and Spanish spice if you like. But it has to be said, I am an enormous lover of the 2-story assets. I hope we certainly see more of this, either in cities or in eventual cities too, right? Love the tiered assets. And then we come up to the 3rd and final variation in the classic range, which is the classic large terminal. And again, it's another variation of the 2-story, but it's slightly larger, as you would expect, with all your usual kind of detailing and branding. There's some food stores under here as well. And yeah, it's great. Really like it. Huge fan of the main terminal buildings. Then we come on to the concourse. So this is the stuff that kind of links everything together, alright? So if we come into the Airports DLC, which is now under its own tab called Airport Area, and we grab one of these concourses. So this is just how you link buildings together, alright? These just span out of each other in various different directions. You can mix and match the concourse styles. I can bring in, for example, a modern airport concourse here and connect them together, and they will work. So kind of interesting. And if you want to mix and match styles like that, then of course you can. Otherwise, they just kind of draw out like regular networks, and you know, this is the stuff that you tether your kind of small, medium, and large aircraft stands to. So that's a concourse. Likewise, we also have the classic air control tower, which again wants to be snapped onto a concourse. You see as you grab it here, try and place it away. Must be placed on a concourse, and then you'll see that they just kind of snap onto it nice and easily and slide around. You can place them to where you want to. And then we come onto the classic concourse hub, which serves as a point for you to, again, kind of expand all of your concourse points out from if you want. You can get some really cool designs doing this sort of stuff. Also worth mentioning that both the concourse and large variations of the hubs come with a metro station. You can see each of them here. Each of them has it. The others do not. So some nice integrated public transport there if you want. And that is it for the classic collection. Okay, so kind of a nice orange design. Orange and grey. Pretty cool. I do like this. We will then move over onto the modern airport terminal, and you can kind of see how this format's going to go, right? So we've got the regular kind of base airport terminal here. Also love the fact that there's now a pedestrian crossing directly outside. We don't have to do this ourselves anymore. And by forcing the upgrade roads, This is really nice quality of life, this. Great little addition to have the pedestrian crossing in the middle there. There you go. It's kind of a blue variation of the original one, right? Got some nice pillars out front. A little more modern looking as you would expect with, you know, a pack called the Modern Airport Terminal. And then likewise again, with its tiered variation. I do appreciate the fact that the decorations are different on these different tiered versions. It's not just using the same detail and assets. But, you know, it's going to function exactly the same as the classic one. And then coming into the large terminal, one of these larger tiered ones. I do like the shape on this one, it's kind of a triangle. So the different variations between kind of the large models are quite distinct, you know? It's like an entirely different shape, it's not just a reskin, which is cool. You get some glass and air conditioning units up here too, alongside the usual fence and bush detailing. And then again, we can move into the modern variations of the concourse units alongside the air control towers. Right. You are getting some slightly different assets down at the bottom of the control towers here. They're not exactly the same every single time, so slight variations. Even in the shape of the tower as well. It looks like the height too. So that's nice. And again, here's the modern concourse. Wonderful stuff. Then head over to the ultra modern. Now these are my favourite sets, and this is what we'll be building at Palavan's Airport out of, or rebuilding Palavan's Airport anyway, using the ultra modern terminals. So here's kind of your stage one. Huge fan of the repeated bush spice outside. Really like this. Lots of nice glass on the front here as well with that classic reflective skyline that does not exist behind us. Love that one. And then we come into the two-story version. I love the texture on these. I can totally see these ultra-modern style units being used elsewhere in my city, especially the concourse style. This would look great along a waterfront, as would the concourse hub as well. Right? Imagine this along a waterfront. We're getting a lot of very nice aesthetic appealing assets with this pack. And then we come into the large ultra-modern terminal, which is great. It has this kind of V shape in the roads. A really nice design here too with the actual main terminal building. So you're getting kind of three real distinct styles and variations between your three terminal sets. I'm a huge fan of the ultra-modern stuff, but they're all equally as nice. Lots of different styles and mix and matching to be had here. Really interesting, cool looking assets. We've also got the ultra-modern control tower here too. Very ultra-modern looking. Almost alien in its design, right? Very cool. We will then move over into some of the placeables. So these are all like the small hangars and stuff. These function to increase the attractiveness of your airport. So very much like a park life area. You're placing airport assets to increase the attractiveness, which will of course increase the levels. If you check the airport area, you can see you have some criteria for the airport to become active before anything even happens, which we'll have a look at in a minute as well. So we have a small hangar right here. So you can place this around your airstrips if you want. It's nice to see some new kind of airport vehicles in here as well with the little baggage carrier people. Do like that. Unfortunately, you can't drag the parked planes into the hangars, which is a little bit of a shame. But eventually with Anarchy, you will be able to anyway, right? But not in the vanilla game. These two do not mold together. And then we come into a large hangar, alright? So, different variation of that one. With indeed some of the new grasses as well. We'll have a look at the new plants today that we're getting. It's cool to see some of these getting used. Okay. Then we have a aviation fuel station, which again will increase the attractiveness of the airport by a value of 40. These assets also have noise pollution values as well. So, you know, you're getting some kind of like nice oil silo vibes here. Some new truck assets parked out front as well, with a little oil symbol on them. And some of those new grasses and bushes coming through too. Alongside a little refueling kind of asset as well. It'd be good if we had this in the base game. Like a little mini petrol station, right? Very nice. Then we'll come into the parked planes. So there are a couple of variations of these. There are 3 variations of the small. And again, all of these contribute to your airport attractiveness once placed inside the area. So there's kind of a green one. Kind of a pink little hexagon design. And then also a little blue one as well. Right. Pretty nice. And then we have variation of some medium planes, again, of which there is 3, all of which are preset styles. These aren't randomly generated once you place them. There's 3 variations of each. Okay, very nice. So we can now place some idle planes around the airport, which is going to be such a huge aesthetic improvement to making these large airfields, right? And then there are 2 variations of a large part plane. Only 2 for the large, even though there's 3 for the other ones. But you know, you're getting some kind of jumbo vibes here, right? 4 engines, 2 floors. So you can get on board with different vibes if you wanted to. Right. And then there's also variations of a cargo parked plane. 2 of these. Again, all going to be there to increase airport attractiveness. We're also getting coax here as well for Colossal Express. Yes, please. Little nod to the developer. Okay, so these are all just little props that you place to increase the attractiveness of your airport. They do not need to be on a concourse or runway. You can place them freely and as many times as you want in various different locations. So really cool. I do like the little proppable plops. Let's carry on over to this concourse here where we have a new building. This one right here is the airline lounge. Again, is a asset to increase the attractiveness of your airport. Is right here. This does need to be snapped onto a concourse. You cannot just place this freely. But again, lots of nice kind of open glass vibes. Some of the new plants coming through here on the bottom as well. And just generally a very nice looking asset. Okay, that's going to help increase the attractiveness. Everyone's going to enjoy it. Moving on over, we have a airport bus stand, which is a very nice looking asset indeed. And again, it wants to be placed alongside a concourse. It cannot be placed anywhere else. Has to be snapped into one of these. Doesn't matter the style of concourse, of course. Whichever one you're using, it will snap onto. It comes with its own road and again, some new detailing. And then you've got a total of 10 individual bus stands here too, alongside a little Airport Express bus station. And I do like the way that these snappable buildings actually snap into the concourse. They generate this little tunnel. This little walking tunnel between the asset and the road. Happens over here as well, right? Really cool. I like that. Moving on over, we have the elevated airport metro station, which again has to be snapped onto a concourse. So unfortunately, you're not going to be really using these elsewhere in the city, unless you bring a concourse into that specific area, which would seem a little bit strange, but you could do that, I suppose, if you want. I guess maybe when Anarchy comes in, right, you can probably place these elsewhere. But I do love the kind of very rough concrete texture on the edge of the line here. But you see, it's just the regular vanilla elevated metro with a new frame on it. I do like the little green frame here. With the stairs up here too. That's very nice. And then some new grasses down at the bottom. And it's going to snap onto the terminal. Likewise, another brand new public transport asset, but this time for the train. The train station does not have an elevated version, so if you want elevated public transport, you will have to use metro. If you want on ground, then you can use train. But you know, a nice new orange frame, again, embellished with some of those new grasses. And it's nice. And it snaps onto the concourse with these little pedestrian tubes, as all the others do. So really cool, very nice way of making airports look a lot more interesting. And nice to have some more ways of getting people into the airport as well. We will then head over and have a look at the hotels. So there are 2 variations of the hotel. Again, all increases your airport attractiveness. Go ahead and grab one of these hotels. There you go. So there's a budget version and a luxury version. This right here is the budget. Has a little airport sign out front, which I'm a huge fan of. All right, that's very nice indeed. These assets do want to be placed roadside and inside an airport area. If you do try to place these outside of an airport area, then they do not work. They have to be within an airport. But I can kind of see this working very similar to how we relocate the ore industry assets. Just dragging the airport area out and then severing it away so you can use these assets elsewhere. Because they're nice and they certainly have a place, especially within like a downtown setting. You can definitely get away with these. Okay, so both of them are going to increase airport attractiveness by a value of 40 and 80 respectively. These also pair nicely with the airport lounge over here as well, which we've already looked at. But you know, it's nice to see some new hotel assets that aren't part of the After Dark DLC, because a lot of those, especially the 4x4 ones, are pretty nasty. So it could be nice to make decent looking hotel areas, but it looks like some new hotel assets are going to fix that. And you will also notice that these hotel assets are placed on a brand new type of road, which is a 4-lane medium cargo airport road. So a road optimized for airport cargo area traffic. And then you can place cargo aircraft stands along this road for maximum efficiency. Cannot be built on slopes. And you can just draw it out. Right. Each of these kind of blocks in the middle here is going to appear at a interval of 10. If you draw something shorter, then you're going to get a shorter block. Okay. So really nice road. I can certainly see myself using this elsewhere around the city outside of airports, definitely in industrial areas. Also really appreciative of seeing some new road markings as well, and see the kind of the stripes and the chevrons and yellow marked lines. This is all kind of brand new stuff, so always appreciated. Very cool. A little 4-way junction over here. So we get a new road. We also get a new 6-lane road as well, which is this one, which is a large variation of this one. We'll draw it parallel, and you can kind of see it. So a much more detailed road, getting kind of box props on the outside of it here. Really cool. And then all of your cargo airport terminal assets are going to snap onto this. So you grab your cargo aircraft stand, and then these just come straight onto these cargo roads. So really cool, right? 2 new road types here. Love the floodlights in them too. And then let's take a look at the new cargo stuff, which is over here. So we have a brand new cargo airport terminal, which is this entire structure right here. So it comes with 2 road networks built into it. One to serve those cargo airport hubs that we've just been looking at. Okay, so now you can snap your cargo aircraft stands onto these if you want. And then of course feed them into your runways, which is very nice. Okay, so really cool. Very cool ideas happening here. And just look how much nicer this cargo airport terminal is, right? Again, embellished with some of the new grasses and bushes. New trucks and new containers. Yes, please. Love this. All right. Better than just the standard, these ones right here. Right, than just seeing these all the time. The regular vanilla containers. Starting to get some different shapes and sizes and brands coming in now. That's such a nice aesthetic improvement to especially a cargo area like this. Likewise around the back, trucks are ready to come and go. These trucks will not move. They are, of course, props. They're not going to come and go. But, you know, other trucks will come and go from this area, moving cargo around. So really cool. Really cool indeed. Then, of course, you have the new road over here. And then there's also a brand new airport cargo train station, which I'm a huge fan of. I prefer this to the regular train station, like the regular cargo terminal. 100% be using this elsewhere than the airports, right? This is a really nice one. Good to see 2 lines coming through in a cargo airport as well. And then, you know, they're just going to hook into the rest of your network. So, if you're wondering what the connections look like as they merge into that concrete texture. And there you go. Okay. Very nice indeed. So now let's have a look at the unique buildings. We have an aviation museum, which again is going to appear under your new airports tab. And not under the unique buildings tab, but they are unique buildings. You can only place one of them. So this one right here is the aviation museum. Okay. Got what looks to be a Concorde in there. Some kind of old, kind of Lancaster bomber vibes almost, I guess, with that one. Just without kind of the war paint on it. And then a couple of fighter jets. And and that. The Boeing 747 has just crashed into the into the hangar for a little bit. We're in early access, everyone, okay? You're assuming things like this are going to be fixed. But, you know, nice and unique building. Nicely branded. Love the signage out front, okay? Really cute. Again, with some more car parking decals out the front. So you can very much get away with placing this out the front of your airport, right? Very nice kind of introductory centerpiece asset. Thank God the pathways can be extended off of the asset like some of the vanilla park stuff. Although it looks like only out of preset nodes, which is still fine, I guess. Yeah. See how the pathway kind of extends out here. So that's really appreciated, that you can do that. That's so nice. That's better. So ignore the plane sliding into the front door. That'll be fixed, you imagine. And then the second unit building is a airline headquarters building. Now this one actually does something. So this houses the headquarters of your city's airline. Places building to start your own city airline. In the airport area panel, you can customize the airline's visual appearance and ticket price for additional income from tourism. So you will need the airline headquarters building to do those things, which we'll look at again in a minute. Okay. So really cool. Nice looking asset. Again, you can imagine this being used away from an airport, especially using Move It just to copy and paste a unique building and use it in like an office park or something. Super great, unique looking asset. Really like it. Super huge fan. We will, of course, discuss the brand new fence.
Brand new fence.
Yes, please. Everyone, we finally have some new fencing after, what was it? What was the last one? Was it Industries? That gave us the most recent fencing. Long time ago. And I love it, right? It's kind of got like a concrete base, kind of a wire mesh texture. It looks to be some kind of like spiked or barbed vibes along the top. Also has a little airport sign on it as well to kind of warn people that there's passing aircraft. Okay, draw it off in a corner here as well. And love it. Absolutely love it. Unfortunately, just because of the nature of the fence, it has the airport logo on it. You probably can't get away with using this in too many places other than an airport. However, to line one of the airport roads with it has a very, very nice aesthetic indeed. And I think it's something that we'll all come to learn to appreciate. Draw it in here as well. Much better, right? Imagine your runways on the opposite side of this and kind of everything passing back and two. It's gonna look great, right? It's gonna, lots of vibes to be had here, I think. Lots of new detail and opportunities and new shapes and vibes that we can take our airports in now. Very much a fan of this DLC. Here's a runway. These things do require to be drawn at a certain length. If you go too short, the game will let you know. You can come here. So it looks like the minimum length there is a minimum of 50 tiles long a runway has to be. And it can be as long as you want, as long as it's within the airport area. These things will go forever. Then you come into your taxiways and you'll notice that on either side of the kind of back end and the front end of your runways, you will have connection points. This is where taxiways come in, okay? And of course, we'll cover all this in the live stream straight after this video, rebuilding Palawan's airport together. But you can just see how you need to continually work with one-way flow systems to get planes back and to from the runway. And then you can use the taxiways to get back and to from airport stands like so. You know, these kind of connect out of here now, and then you can connect everyone in and configure your taxiway, and that's how people get back and to from stands to runways. But again, we'll be having a look at all this in our live stream immediately after this video. So that is every single new asset that comes with the Airports DLC. This is everything that you'll get. Lots of possibilities here. I will briefly talk about the trees before we have a look at the maps. So with the trees, everyone is getting them. They are part of the free update. So very much how Sunset Harbour brought free overground metro, the Airports is bringing new trees. Under your landscaping and disasters tab, there is now a new tab for content creator trees, where there are quite a few new variations. So we have a live oak, a latana, which is some new form of overgrowth. All right. A horse chestnut tree, a Pacific rhododendron. I am not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Probably not. If anyone knows how to say that, let me know. A young Leiden, wild hedge, which is a kind of a new variation of bush spice. Tall grass, very reminiscent of some of the stuff that I'm using in Ilos, some of this kind of brown grass stuff. California palm, very nice to have a proper palm in the game now. Just hugely needed. Then we have the boreal pine. Again, new type of boreal conifer vibe. Very nice, tall and thin. Then we have a blooming jacaranda. I have never heard of many of these trees. Which is a cute little pink number. right? Lots of opportunities for repeated spice with all of these new trees today, all right? We're going to have a nice time. And then coconut tree, generic pine tree, a generic date palm, an eastern cottonwood, and that is it. Okay, so some really nice, especially quite high resolution, good looking trees as well here with some of these new ones. So like I said, everyone is getting these. These are coming with the airport update. You don't have to buy the DLC to get the trees. You know, and you can imagine now as you start to run kind of repeated tree patterns up and outside of your main terminals using the new trees here, everyone's just going to have a wonderful time, aren't they? You know, with those new centralized pedestrian crossings too. Start bringing pathways through the middle and lots of walkability and just the definitions of yes please everyone, I think. Lots of very exciting things to be had with these new airport builds. So before we jump in and have a look at the maps, I just want to have a little chat about the way that the Paint Airport area works. So you guys would have seen from the various previews of this DLC that are on YouTube at the minute that when you terraform out a landscape using the airport tool, that it terraforms for you so everything is flat for your assets. We're also introduced to the options of buying and selling soil now with our terrain options. To sell a full pack of soil costs 50,000. And indeed, to buy a full pack of soil will cost 47,000. So you can keep trading off here, right? However, once you have terraformed, so say for example, right, you can see I'm going to terraform all of this landscape out here, right? And this is now terraformed. This is in my airport area. I can place airport assets here as I want. I can maybe bring in a runway, right? You know, this is classed as airport area. Nothing stops you from coming in and re-terraforming this airport area, okay? So if you wanted to get different layers of heights and whatever kind of terrain manipulation you want to try and play with, the regular terraforming tools still work all the way through an airport area. It doesn't make a difference, alright? So, kind of up to you. Wonder what we can come up with that. But probably a few meme builds, I imagine. So you can still terraform an airport area after it's been painted out and terraformed, and still place assets within this as well. We'll just kind of double check and confirm that. Yeah, there you go. So you can still place these terminals on a different elevation within the area. So interesting concepts. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the map, shall we? So the first map we have here is Asanu Beach. It has a 75% build area, all of its outside connections, and all available natural resources. Taking a look at those natural resources, it is split pretty evenly across the board. Lots of large oil and ore deposits, with some fertile land knocking around near the river. If you're interested in wind turbines, then here is the wind map for Asanu Beach. The terrain all around the starting tile and predominantly the middle of the map is all relatively flat. I'm going to be super friendly for building airports in. And if you'd like to do some fishing with Sunset Harbour, then shellfish fans can rejoice with lots of tuna in the river and some anchovies knocking around near the coastline. So this is Asanu Beach, everyone. Very nice tropical themed map. Super cute beach vibes. Seeing some of those new coconut trees appear alongside the vanilla palms here too, which is really good, but a really huge stretch of beach to enjoy. And lots of kind of tourism possibilities along here, right? Heading up into the mountains, you're going to get a nice little kind of mountain river that comes down into the ocean here. And some very kind of almost tropical kind of lagoon vibes, almost, with the detail in here too. Very pretty looking map. Got all this big flat expanse throughout the middle. Your starting tile is here, just a regular vanilla intersection. There's also kind of a big dust bowl or kind of sand bowl here if you like, which is something we haven't really seen before. So some nice changes into the terrain, alongside our usual vanilla detailing bits and pieces over here, okay? The rivers aren't too badly terraformed at all. I'm not seeing any of that kind of nasty vanilla riverbank terraforming that I'm not really a huge fan of, but rivers are really nice here, nice and wide. And there's no vanilla train intersections that we can have a look at, unfortunately. This is just one train line that just run through the map. Likewise with the highway as well. It does split off into a couple of different directions here with another vanilla intersection again. There's also some nice castle ruins and cemetery decoration knocking about too, alongside some kind of heavy gorge vibes here. I think this is where the the riverbank terraforming is appropriate, when you're in these kind of like gorge vibes, okay? So this is over in the mountain. But otherwise, Asanu Beach is a very nice looking, simple, easy to build on tropical map, with lots of buildable space in the middle, hence its 75% buildable area, and some very nice opportunities for kind of waterfront tourism, beach tropical vibes on this map as well. Next up is Hanami Bay, and this has a 70% buildable area with all outside connections and all available resources. Taking a look at those available resources, big chunks of fertile land with little ore deposits knocking around in the mountains, with some oil also in the water and knocking around near the rivers as well. If you're interested in using wind turbines, the main windy spots are indeed all around the water and in some of the flatlands around the map as well. The terrain, very similar to Asanu Beach, has a nice big flat buildable area with some mountains knocking around within the 81 tile radius. And if you're interested in doing some fishing, salmon and shellfish are very much winning the fight for water space. So Hanami Bay is a very pretty looking temperate map, indeed, with lots of interesting waterways happening here, especially kind of out in the bay. Lots of little islands to be making use of. Probably got some very interesting builds out here. Imagine some fishing villages, really nice. Some waterfront runways opportunities happening here as well if you're going to be playing with the Airports DLC. And essentially where kind of the two rivers join here and they isolate this little landmass to be kind of like almost like an ultra thin Manhattan Island, right? The way it flows with the water sources either side. We're going to get some waterfalls up here too, where the terrain elevation is changing. Don't really mind a waterfall. This is all fairly nice, right? Everyone's happy here. The vanilla bridges, nothing wrong with these. Everyone's happy here. No weird terraforming happening. And again, we're met with a little custom trumpet design this time, rather than one of the vanilla interchanges, which is always nice to see some new designs in here. And likewise, again, the starting tile is greeted with a custom interchange. Quite a big one too. Some train bridge action happening here as well, where the land dips down. But again, I think we're already kind of seeing a repeatable theme happening with the airports maps, is that they all have a very big flat buildable area in the middle, which is certainly needed for the way that the airports are going to work, because they're going to be pretty big, you imagine. So lots of buildable space on these maps is certainly going to be a given. But nice, super flat, pretty coastline temperate theme map in the form of Hanami Bay. Certainly nothing wrong with it, and definitely one of the prettier maps that you can play in the game now. And last but certainly not least is No U Port, which is a boreal themed map with a 80% buildable area, all available natural resources and all available outside connections. Again, taking a look at those natural resources, all of the mountain ridges are holding significant ore deposits, so very nice opportunities for ore mines in this map with the Interest DLC. And also some very interesting deposits of oil that are following the riverbeds here. We'll have a look at this map in a minute. Taking a look at your wind, all the windy spots on the mountain peaks and in the flatlands. With the terrain, yet again seeing this Airports DLC and theme repeat. The vast majority of the map nice and flat and friendly for airports. With your 81 tile radiuses being mainly pretty significant mountains and coastline. And if you're interested in doing some fishing, these shellfish are dominating the coast, with a salmon party happening in the rivers. And this is the first thing I want to talk about, is the rivers. Look at this. How nice is this? This is how to terraform riverbanks, right? What a pleasant surprise. So it's kind of got that gorge vibe again, you know. You have the main level of the map where you'll be doing the majority of your building. And then you drop off a ledge and then slope down a nice riverbank down to the water. I've never seen riverbeds terraform like this. And what an enormous difference it makes, right? It's almost as though, you know, where the river rises during the wet season. Very nice indeed. Also, lovely to see these new grasses as part of the vanilla detailing here. Really, really nice. Huge fan. And big bridge over the gorge. Kind of almost Springfield Gorge vibes here, right, for the Simpsons Fangs Amongst Us. And then this river meanders through the landscape, passing by some cute little bits of vanilla detail, and again, using those new trees that we're getting. So you're going to see these new variants of trees starting appearing around the maps now. And then the river comes to a little kind of hairpin bend where it looks like it wants to be terraformed out just so this connects in and creates a little island. That's easily done. And then we just gradually meander down towards the river where we pass parallel with the highway for a short time. And then eventually heads down into the sea. So really like the riverways here, especially those terraform riverbeds. And you've seen those same vibes come through here as well. Imagine lots of pedestrian walking paths back and to across this. Perhaps a nature reserve build nearby. Really happy to see some new landscapes in the vanilla maps. Very much a fan of No U-Port. And it even comes with its own custom 3-way interchanges, which is fantastic. Yes, please everyone, right? Nice and big, really nice design this. No more horrible 3-way standard vanilla interchanges. Very happy to see some custom ones being put in here. Again, lots more castle detailing, pretty standard affair for most boreal theme maps at this point. And we're also seeing now those new trees get introduced into the forest palette, which we've already had a look at today as well. So conifers mixed in with these, is it alpine pines or something, whatever it was called? It's one of these ones, isn't it? The boreal pine. But I'm currently out of city limits, so can't place it here. That's fine though. And then there's kind of a little plinth up on top of the mountains here. You know, this is where you're getting all your ore industry, so you can really carve out significant chunks of these hills to become kind of ore mines. Quite high up as well in the city to look out across the rest of your build, you know. Really interesting landscapes here. There's also a little kind of boreal palavan pine pond or little lake here too. Again, nature reserve or small town opportunities. Galore over here alongside a little kind of cliff face ramp, I guess, next to a factory and some broken rail lines. Again, pretty standard vanilla map detailing at this point. And there is lots of kind of small little bodies of water knocking around on this map as well. So if you enjoy working with waterfront builds, No U-Port really gives you some new unique opportunities with its landscape to get some nice designs happening here. Also some classic machine gun nest detailing along the coastline with some kind of washed up oil tankers and an appropriate placement of a lighthouse over here on the peninsula as well. Really cool. And a broken down car. Very nice. It's cute. And there's lots of these little detail and intricacies across the islands. A really interesting map. So guys, that is it for No U-Port and indeed the Airports DLC showcase. A huge thank you again to Paradox and Colossal Order for giving me early access. Never thought that would happen. Especially starting with Fremwood. We're now covering DLCs for Paradox. So thank you so much again for giving me early access to Paradox and for you guys for getting my channel to a point where it justifies early access. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all support. Don't forget, if you are watching this video premiered on the Saturday, we are live immediately in Palavan after this video to rebuild that airport with the new Airports DLC stuff. So if you want to come say hello, hang out in the live chat and chill out with us on the stream for a few hours, then do hop over onto the channel and come and join us. But otherwise, the Airports DLC is out on the 25th of January, and I am very much looking forward to getting stuck in and playing with many different new airport designs and themes, alongside using a lot of these new assets away from airports. You know, where else can we use them? Very much looking forward to getting more of those concourse hubs up and against the waterfront, I think. We'll see. But otherwise, I will shut up and I will leave it there. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.